Hey guys, welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. I'm so glad that you decided to join me. Today is Good Friday for those of you that are practicing Roman Catholics. For those of you that are celebrating Passover, well, happy Passover to you as well. It is so great to be with everyone here on Inspirations for Your Life. We've had a real whirlwind of a week. What you say, what you do, who you are. Um, yes, it's all about that, guys. It's all about that. And I want to let you know what today's master topic, this is the granular topic, I should, the granular topic is, and that is voice activated. No, not technology. Finding the courage to communicate. Yes, finding the courage. Finding the courage to communicate, series 4, show 16, episode 7. I know for us it's a fasting day for meat and stuff, but if you are hungry, like want a drink, something hot, something cold, go off to the kitchen and go grab that and hurry on back. All right, everyone. All right, so I am your host, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. You know, it's always such a privilege, a pleasure, and honor to be with you every time that I'm here on the show or creating other content. It is just great to be with everyone here. Do check out believemeachieve.com for more of my, of course, amazing, inspiring creations that you are not going to want to miss. All right, everyone. All right, so let's dive right in, shall we? All right. Number one, the thing that I think I want everyone to understand first is that communication sometimes can be confusing for others. Speaking your truth clearly and confidently is one of the most powerful tools you can develop in life, yet it's often buried under fear, doubt, and learned silence. In the episode, I'm going to guide you through 10 transformational insights that will help you overcome internal blocks, build your vocal courage, and communicate in a way that not only expresses your truth, but amplifies it. Whether you're looking to lead better, love more openly, or simply express your thoughts with ease, this journey, folks, is the one for you. So, what are you waiting for? Let's kick this off and let's get started. All right, everyone. So great to be with you here on Inspirations for Your Life. Number one, the fear behind speaking up for many people. The act of speaking up is deeply entangled with fear, false evidence appearing real, of judgment, rejection, embarrassment, or simply being misunderstood. The fear often has roots in early life experiences where expressing oneself may have led to negative consequences or a lack of acknowledgement. Over time, we internalize the idea that silence is safer than speaking, especially in emotionally charged or professional settings. But fear is not a signal to stop, it's a sign that you actually care. Yeah, that's pretty wacky, isn't it? Okay. The first courageous step is naming that fear and becoming aware of it and understanding how it shows up, whether it's hesitation, overthinking, or staying silent when your insight could make a difference. Acknowledging the fear doesn't make it disappear, but it does give you the power to choose differently. All right. Number two, why, everyone? Why clarity matters more than the volume. We talked about this a little bit before. We often assume that to be heard, we must speak louder or more aggressively. But in truth, clarity is far more powerful than the volume. Clarity is about being specific, intentional, and organized in your expression. When you take the time to form your thoughts and speak with precision, people listen, not because you're loud, but because you're understandable and impactful. Speaking clearly also reflects respect for your audience. It shows you've thought about your message and want them to receive it in an effective manner. Thinking of clarity as a spotlight in the dark, like something that illuminates, guides, and sticks in the mind of listeners long after the words have been spoken. I think that's a pretty powerful thing, guys. Yeah. Number three, identifying your internal communication blocks. What we don't say often comes from what we believe we can't say. Internal communication blocks are the silent saboteurs of vocal confidence. These blocks may appear as negative self talk, fear of confrontation, perfectionism, or even imposter syndrome. Yes. They stem from old mental program stories that we've told ourselves for years that limit our voice. Maybe you believe you're not eloquent enough or that others won't care about your opinion. These beliefs become patterns that shape your communication habits. The good news is that once you're aware of these internal scripts you have, you can rewrite them, or these programs, you can delete them and add new ones. Reflect, journal, and talk to trusted allies to uncover these blocks. Awareness is the gateway to freedom. So, what are you waiting for, guys? Start unlocking that freedom today. Number four, the role of self worth in confident speaking. At the core of every confident speaker is a person who believes their voice matters. Self worth fuels vocal confidence. It tells you that your thoughts, your feelings, and your words are valid and valuable. Yes, when you possess a healthy sense of self worth, you don't seek external validation before expressing yourself. Instead, you speak from a grounded sense of inner value. Building this takes some practice, so don't get discouraged. It might start with affirmations, celebrating small wins, or just small communication highlights, or simply allowing yourself to be heard in low risk situation. That's the best place to start. As your self worth grows and strengthens, so does your willingness to share your authentic voice. Even in tough rooms, you're going to want to get up and show this voice. Now, I know you're probably saying, John, no way. Well, no way is maybe now, but no way doesn't mean tomorrow. Okay. No way just means not at this moment. All right. So I think that's a very, very important thing to realize. Number five, using pauses as power tools. In a fast talking world, silence is often misunderstood as weakness. But in reality, the pause is one of the most powerful tools in a communicator's arsenal. Pausing allows us to collect our thoughts, emphasize our message, and maintain emotional control. A well placed pause can turn an average message into a moment of reflection and impact. I just did it right there. It shows your audience that you're confident enough to fill every second with not just a sound, but with things that might just unlatch or allow them to take hold of new opportunities. Pauses give listeners time to absorb what you've said, creating a rhythm that feels thoughtful and strong rather than rushed and reactive. I know so many speakers that, they have to get in a time frame, right? And even though the show has a time frame, I still make sure that I don't shove too much information at you. That's why I plan ahead of times to make sure the points I'm going to cover are going to be not enough or just enough for the time frame that we have, which is right around the 28-minute mark, 28 and 15, 28 and 30 minutes. Number six, how body language backs your words. Communication is never just verbal. We said this before, right? We said the rule before, the 7-38-55 rule. 7% is what you say, 38% is how you say it, and 55% is what you don't say, the body language. That's pretty powerful. All right. So, in fact, your body speaks louder than your words. The way you stand, you move your hands, make eye contact, and even breathe all contribute to how your message is received. Confident body language reinforces your message by creating alignment between intention and the delivery. Conversely, slouched posture, lack of eye contact, or fidgeting can cause confusion or reduce credibility. The key is awareness, practicing using open gestures, standing tall. I don't typically talk with my hands all the time, but if I'm trying to explain something, I will. But you don't want to do that just to do it, right? So stand tall and mirror genuine engagement. When your body and voice are aligned, your message hits deeper and sticks stronger. That doesn't mean like when I'm doing a cast or doing some presentation, I don't have to stand. But in this typical light, I sit. I mean, this is very common. Number 7, speaking with intention. I love this one, guys. I really do love this one. Speaking with intention, not an impulse. Not an impulse. That's very, very key. Okay. Many people speak reactively, driven by emotion or habit rather than intention. Intentional speaking is about deliberate speaking with the words, knowing your purpose before you even open your mouth, asking yourself, what do I want the other person to feel, understand, or do after I speak? What action do I want him or her to take? When you communicate with the level of mindfulness, your conversations become more effective and meaningful. Intentional speaking builds bridges instead of installing walls. It resolves conflict and it strengthens relationships because it prioritizes outcomes over emotional release. It's not about being perfect, it's about being purposeful. And I think the best way to explain this is that we have to have that authentic intention in our heart. When we do, things just sort of flow easily to us and others. All right. So, number 8, listening as part of courageous communication. Now, I know this sounds like something you probably heard a million times, but hopefully you'll understand that one of the boldest things you can do in a conversation is to listen fully and without distraction. True communication requires reciprocity, and that starts with giving others your attention. It's not the time to be fumbling on your iPhone or your mobile device or your computer. True communication requires reciprocity, and that starts with giving others your attention. Again, very important. When you listen, not just for words, but for a meaning, you build a trust, a connection. Listening shows humility and empathy. It also gives you the information you need to respond with insight rather than an impulse, right? So we've said before that when we do things reactively, they don't always work out. They're also more costly, and the outcome is just way off what we expected. When we're proactive, we are ready for something. Courageous communicators are active listeners. They ask questions, they reflect back, and stay open to learning. They don't try to dump and say, oh, gee, John's saying this right now, or he's saying this right now, or she's saying this. I got to ask this question. No, forget your questions. Just listen actively. When they finish speaking, then think about your question. All right. That's really important. So many people I know want to intercept because, oh, I got a question. Well, what about what I have to say? In doing so, they foster environments where everyone, unfortunately, doesn't feel heard or respected. And that's not the goal, guys. Number 9, dealing with criticism. This is a hard one, I know, without losing your voice. I like to call consistent constructive feedback. Criticism is inevitable, right? Bound to happen. But losing your voice in response is not. Whether the critique is constructive or cruel, your reaction can define your growth. Of course, it should be constructive, but not everyone does give constructive feedback. When you're anchored in your self-worth and the clarity for what you stand for, you can evaluate the criticism without internalizing it. Don't attach to it. Use feedback as a mirror, not a verdict. Ask, what can I learn from this? Even though it wasn't really said in the most appropriate manner, how can I learn from this? Does this reflect me? Or someone else projecting something onto me that isn't there? Healthy communicators don't crumble under criticism. They adapt, they refine, and they continue expressing themselves. Remember, criticism is not the end of your voice. It's often the beginning of refinement, and I think that's a key for everyone. Our last point, the 10th point, is 10 daily practices to strengthen vocal courage. Confidence in communication doesn't happen overnight, folks. I've said this before. It's a skill that needs to be nurtured and cultivated through consistent practice. Start with journaling your thoughts daily to get in touch with your inner voice. Practice reading aloud to improve clarity and tone. Engage in small, bold conversations, asking for what you want, sharing honest feedback, or even speaking up in meetings. Use affirmations like, my voice matters, or I express myself with confidence. These habits might feel small, but over time, they shape a more powerful communicator, one who shows up authentically and courageously in every single space. I think that's something that a lot of people miss because they're so worried about how well they're going to come off. They don't think about the authenticity, right? That's a problem for a lot of people. So now what I'd like to do is give you basically a personal story for each of the points that I elaborated on today, and I hope that will help you. Help because when I start to give you a personal story, it's like you get the message, right? Um, the first one is the fear behind speaking up. And so when I think about the fear behind speaking up, I mean, there's a lot of stories that come to my mind, okay, when I think about this. And you might be saying, John, well, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to do something that's wrong. I get it. But a lot of people have a fear of speaking up, guys. Unfortunately, they do. And so there was a time early in my career when I was invited to present a large industry event. It's actually a coffee event for new baristas and coffee shop owners. I prepared extensively, but as I stood backstage waiting to be introduced, my throat tightened just a tiny bit. It wasn't the fear of forgetting my content, it was the fear of judgment. I worried about sounding unintelligent or being misunderstood. I'd never spoken to a group of baristas or coffee shop owners. That moment reminded me that fear of speaking up is rarely about ability, it's about vulnerability. So, what helped me walk onto the stage anyway was remembering why I was speaking to help others. I was not there to impress them. That single mindset shift broke the chains of any fear that was still left. And by that time, guys, there was no fear left anywhere in my mind or my body. So I think that's an important thing. Why you're doing something, right? The reason. Why clarity matters more than volume. I once led a team meeting where I tried to assert myself by raising my voice just a bit louder when people weren't paying attention. This was many years ago. It didn't work. The room didn't respect the volume, they respected clarity. Later, in a quiet one on one with a team member, I explained our direction in simple, precise language. And that's when the message landed. And it taught me that confidence doesn't roar, it resonates. The power in your voice doesn't come from how loud you are, but how clearly your words connect. Number three, identifying your internal communication blocks. There was a phase when I couldn't seem to connect during important conversations. I thought it was external distractions, but it turned out the real barrier was inside me by my own limiting belief. I thought, why would anyone value what I'm saying? That quiet doubt was like static in my communication. Through journaling and deep self reflection, I uncovered past experiences that planted those seeds of silence. Once I saw them, I could challenge them. Identifying these blocks was the first step toward truly expressing myself with freedom. Number four, the role of self worth in confident speaking. The turning point in my public speaking came not from practicing more, but from working on my self worth. When I truly believed that my ideas had more value, even if they weren't perfect, I started speaking with confidence, remembering that being on a podcast panel where I hesitated to jump in first, thinking they've got this covered. But when I reminded myself that my voice mattered too, I joined in. That one moment reminded me that when we honor our own worth, we give others permission to do the same. Number five, use pauses as power tools. Years ago, I was in a live debate and felt pressure to respond immediately to a sharp question, but I paused. That moment of silence felt eternal, but it grounded me. I gathered my thoughts, responded with clarity, and the room listened. Since then, I've learned that pauses aren't empty, they're powerful. They show presence, confidence, and composure. And sometimes it's in that quiet moment that people truly lean in. Number six, how body language backs your words. I once coached a colleague who delivered incredible content, but their body language was always out of proportion. It didn't align with their words. I realized I'd been there too, hunched shoulders, avoiding eye contact in the beginning of my career. shrinking instead of standing tall. When I began practicing open, grounded postures and gestures, something changed. People not only heard me, they believed me. Thus, our body speaks long before our words do. And when it's in alignment with our message, we become unforgettable. And thus, this was the advice I gave my colleague. Number 7, speaking with intention, not an impulse. Early in my entrepreneurial career, I used to respond impulsively to meetings, eager to prove myself. But too often, my rushed comments diluted the message or caused confusion. Over time, I realized the difference between reaction and intention. Now, before I speak, I ask myself, what's the purpose behind this? That shift allows my words to carry direction, not just a sound. Speaking with intention creates trust. It shows that you've thought before you've spoken, or in our case, opened our mouth. Number 8, listening as part of a courageous communication. There was a moment during a conflict where I chose to stop defending myself and just listen. It wasn't easy, but in that silence, I heard the real issue beneath the words, and it changed the entire conversation. Listening, truly listening, requires humility and strength. It's not about waiting for your turn to speak, it's about understanding, reflecting, and sometimes saying less so that more healing can happen. Number 9, guys. Number 9. Number 9 is another really great one. Uh, I think sometimes we get lost in where we're going, and I don't think that happens because of anything we did wrong. I think it happens because we get a little bit stuck, and the reason we get stuck is for no other reason than we're a little fearful, right? We're afraid somebody is judging us. Somebody is judging us, and that judging us doesn't always mean what you think it means, right? That judging us can be something that is so outlandish. It may not even make sense to you at the moment, okay? But it can if you truly give it a voice. And so, dealing with criticism without losing your voice. I remember receiving some harsh feedback on a video that I poured my heart into. My first instinct was to shut down, to not create for a while. But after some time, I revisited the comments, and this was in my very beginning career of this. I separated the usefulness from the noise and reminded myself criticism doesn't define me, growth does. Speaking up again after being knocked down is hard, but it also encouraged me to reclaim my voice. Courage isn't the absence of a critique, it's the ability to keep speaking through it. Remember, what you associate with actually becomes you. So if you take the switch and you say, you know what, that's not me, then guess what happens? It doesn't have an impact on you. All right. I think that's a very, very important thing to understand. And number 10, daily practices to strengthen vocal courage. For me, vocal courage is a daily practice. It's not a destination. Each morning, I do quick vocal warm-ups and write one truth I want to speak that day about. I also challenge myself to speak up at least once in a space where I might normally hold back. These small, consistent actions have built, for me, a strong foundation of confidence, like strengthening a muscle. It takes repetition, and every day you choose to use your voice. No matter how small, you become stronger. And I think a lot of people expect exponential growth overnight. Well, that's not happening, folks. You're not going to get exponential growth overnight. I'm sorry. You're just not going to get it. And so, if you understand that, then maybe you'll realize the true meaning, right? The true meaning is that you can make a difference, okay? You can make a difference. And that difference is something pretty cool, okay? But it's not something that everyone's just going to spot immediately, right? It takes time. We have to be proactive, not reactive. We have to be proactive, not reactive. That's hard for a lot of people. How do you become proactive and not reactive? Well, one thing you need to do is you need to understand that it's about you, right? It's about how you show up in this world, right? How do you show up? And you might say to me, John, I don't know how I show up. Well, maybe that's the problem, right? Maybe the problem is that you're showing up in a way that's not something that is going to be great, right? And I think if we can digest that for just a moment, right? And we could say to ourselves, how do we want to show up in this world? Many people think it's about who you were, but that's not important. It's who you become. Who you become. That's pretty cool, right? Who you become. I know that a lot of people don't understand this, but I can tell you that it makes a big difference. All right. And when we think about our voice, thanks, Basil. Appreciate the like there. Engaging is not an ego contest. Let me say that again. Engaging is not an ego contest. It is an opportunity for us to be transparent. Okay. It's an opportunity for us to become transparent. And that might be something that scares some people, right? It might scare some people because they feel that they're not enough or they get stuck in that, that doldrum chain, right? Where am I going? What am I doing? Why am I doing this, folks? Why? Hey, Picture Perfect Decor, thank you so much for joining in. Welcome. Appreciate the join. I know that a lot of you act because of something someone else did. And sometimes you follow somebody, but it's not actually the best thing for you. But you think it's the best thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Please do check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And I'll catch you guys real soon. Take care, everyone.